Duval, welcome into Around the Felt Sports. Continuing our mini-series tonight, breaking down every team ahead of the 2025 NFL season. We got the Jacksonville London Jaguars on deck tonight. I'm your host, Colin Tong. Joining me, as always, Reagan Loer. Reagan,
yes, sir.
How you doing, sir? You ready to talk some Jags football?
Dude, I'm ready to talk about the London Jaguars. I'm hyped. I'm really hyped.
Yeah, I'm very high on the Jaguars this year. Maybe not quite as high as you are, though, my friend. Who's not very high on them is Vegas with a 7.5 win total here. Some key additions, of course. Two-way phenom Travis Hunter, trading away the 2026 first to go up and get him. Very, very risky. Patrick McCurry on the offensive line. Dyami Brown and Jordan Lewis. Some losses. Evan Ingram, Christian Kirk, Andre Cisco, Brandon Scherf, Mitch Morse. Jags have a fairly easy schedule. 6th easiest projected based on Vegas win totals. And they did go 3-10 in one-score games last year. So although it was not a great season in Duval, it's not like they were getting boat raced. They were in games. Just couldn't get the job done. New head coach Liam Cohen here to hopefully get Trevor Lawrence to that generational status that he was supposed to be coming out of Clemson. Reagan, where do you have the Jaguars finishing this season?
All right, Jaguar fans, get excited. I got the Jaguars going 10-7 this year and winning the AFC South.
Wow.
Taking over wildcard weekend's opening game where the Houston Texans have been slotted in for the past couple of years. But I got the Jaguars winning it, man. I am super excited. A healthy T-Law with a brand new head coach, brand new GM. I really like what they're doing. Bringing in Travis Hunter. Brian Thomas showed last year he's just an absolute dog, already a top 12, top 10 guy in the league. I mean, just dominant.
Yep.
The offensive line, while I don't love it, it's not terrible. It'll be interesting to see the running back room with Etienne and Bigsby, how they do. But I'm excited for the offense. And on the defensive side of the ball, they got some dogs, in Allen's Hines,
Trayvon
Walker, Devin Lloyd. I mean, the secondary, was hit or miss. And then they just got a stud kicker that can hit 70-yard bombs. And
how about that?
I'm excited, dude. I think this offense is going to be, very top tier. And Trevor Lawrence, I mean, maybe worth the MVP sprinkle.
Oh, MVP. That's crazy.
Hey, man, if they go 10-7 and win the division, that means he did something right.
That is true. I love that you shout out the kicker, too, because here at Around the Felt, we care about all three facets of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Reagan loves his kickers. So
hey, man, that's 7 points in fantasy right there if you get that.
It's unbelievable. He's definitely going to get drafted.
Who wouldn't want that? He should be. You get a 7-point bomb, man. That's like catching a 5-yard touchdown in the red zone, man. You can't take that away.
That's great. Hey, I'm also high in the Jags. I have 9-8, though. Not winning division. I still got Houston 1 game above them, but I'm expecting a big turnaround for the Jaguars this season. Liam Cohen is a major factor in that. He's definitely bounced around a lot the last few years, but there's no denying what he did for Baker Mayfield and that Tampa Bay offense last year. I understand they had a lot of weapons and they have a great offensive line, but let's not forget Godwin missed a ton of the season and Evans missed a chunk of the season as well. You have McMillan and Shepard in, and the offense didn't skip a beat. Bucky Irving was a dog. I think Cohen can have a very similar impact to this Jaguars team. Trevor Lawrence is 22-38 as a starter. When he was projected to go number 1 overall for 2 years at Clemson and had that generational tag, the best quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck, who would have thought all these years later he'd be 22-38 as a starter? And he went 2-8 as a starter last year, his lowest completion rate of his career high in picks and sacks taken. It was not good. He had 11 touchdowns to 7 picks. I am going to write that off as Doug Peterson was not the guy and the team was not bought in. It's a wash of a year. Now, you still have to take into account he's got to play better. There's no doubt about it. The guy can make any throw in the book, right? But he's got to be more consistent. He's got to have better eyes. He's got to get the ball out quicker, and he's got to be more accurate. He's got the tools here. The offensive line, in my opinion, is not great. The one guy that I do really like is Walker Little. I've known about Walker Little since his days at Stanford. Very highly touted recruit. He replaced Cam Robinson after they traded him to the Vikings last year, and he was 6th best in pressure rate allowed amongst all left tackles. That is what you love to see to protect your franchise quarterback's blind side. The running back room, very interesting. Travis Etienne, big step back last year, only 558 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's bad. Bigsby, 820 total yards, 7 touchdowns. It's okay. It's pretty good. And then you add in the draft, Tutin out of Virginia Tech, who has elite speed, great after.
Tutin? Are you scooting for Tutin? I don't know how to pronounce it exactly.
That's my best guess at how you pronounce it. So no offense.
But he was good at Virginia Tech.
If that's incorrect. Yeah. A lot of guys are thinking he's going to have that Bucky Irving role. However, I actually am expecting a bounce back from Etienne. Although he's very inefficient last year, the guy has the pedigree that the other 2 backs in the room don't have. If you haven't checked out our Fantasy Football Ultimate Guide, we dive into Etienne and why we think he could bounce back this year. Great video. Check it out. So I'm actually pretty high in this running back room. I like the options here. One of them could be a trade. It wouldn't shock me if someone was potentially traded, if maybe Tutin's like that guy, because he's starting to get some first-team reps a little bit for the first time now. So interesting to monitor, but I think if Etienne is in the picture here, he kind of fits that Bucky Irving mold, definitely more so than Tank. Tank will be the short yardage guy. He's going to have that role, but what we care about in this offense is the guy who's going to be the pass catcher and can have those big plays. I think Etienne fits the bill. The wide receiver room, very, very top-heavy. Brian Thomas, freak. I mean, had nearly 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns last year. Just an absolute stud. That's a home run of a pick from the Jags.
Yeah.
Travis.
You could make a case that he's the best wide receiver from that class. I mean, it's quite the debate between him, Neighbors, Marv, Ladd. I mean, there's some studs.
Yeah.
I feel like Marv and Adunze, obviously, they went before him, but Brian Thomas, man, you can make the case he's number 1 in the class already.
Significantly better. And hey, you can't point to the situation either. Like, he had Trevor Lawrence for 10 games and he still was feasting. And it's not like
Mac
Lawrence
Jones,
was playing. Yeah. Then he had Mac Jones. It's not like Lawrence was playing better than a Murray maybe he was playing better than Caleb, but at the end of the day, Brian Thomas is that dude. He's elite, right? And then Travis Hunter, I think he's going to be an absolute star on the offensive side of the ball. I mentioned also in the Fantasy Ultimate Guide how you got to take Travis Hunter in fantasy football. He's going very late because of his two-way ability. If he wasn't going to play defense at all, he'd be going significantly higher. He's projected to play 80% of the snaps on offense. Liam Cohen is an offensive-minded coach. He's going to want him there more than defense. He's a starting wide receiver and a second-string DB. Major on offense, minor on defense. That's how it should be for him right now. I absolutely love Travis Hunter. I think he's going to be a star. I think the only way he bites you in the ass in fantasy if a running back runs him over and he gets hurt. But the guy's a total baller. All he did at Colorado was just get open and make plays after the catch. But he's an elite corner too. He had the highest ball hawk rate of any college DB over the last 4 years. The guy could take the ball away. I mean, we've seen that. He has diving, interceptions, highlight reels all the time at Colorado. So he could have an impact there too. And they also need secondary help. So it was a very ballsy move trading up to get him. And the only way it's worth it is if he does excel at offense and defense, because you wouldn't give up a first-round pick to move up for a wide receiver. You know what I mean? That's just very, very risky. So he's got to pan out on both sides. But for the offense, those two I think will be elite. Outside of them, though, it's fairly empty. The depth sucks. I do think Brenton Strange is a breakout candidate.
Yeah, I've seen him being drafted in a lot of best ball leagues and fantasy leagues. His ADP's starting to get up there, and I was like, there's a lot of hype around him right now.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a part of the offense. Now, how productive he'll be remains to be seen. A lot of that falls on Trevor Lawrence's shoulders. I mean, T-Law's just got to be better, right? And if Liam Cohen can't fix them, then shit, that $275 million deal you gave Trevor Lawrence looks really, really bad. His average per year is $55 million. That's up there with the likes of Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and Dak Prescott. And let's be honest, Trevor Lawrence does not belong in the same breath as those guys thus far in their careers. So they really need him to figure it out for this team. Defensively, they were bottom 5 against the run and the pass last year. They were 27th in pressure rate, and I really don't like that because you got Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines-Allen. Allen only had 8 sacks. Walker at 10.5. You like the double digits, but the pressure rate was not there. He was 62nd in pressure rate. I like Devin Lloyd. Foyesade Olokun only played 13 games last year, but I like him a lot at linebacker as well. So I think that the talent on this defense is good enough where they should be better than last year, for sure. I think they should be significantly higher in pressure rate and better against the run. Secondary, they only had 6 interceptions last year. They're bottom 3 in many metrics outside of Tyson Campbell, who's pretty good. Like, I still am not loving the secondary at all. Man, it's tough. I don't love this defense, but still, like, I'm just that bullish on an offensive bounce back for this team with the tools that they have. And I think Liam Cohen can fix Trevor Lawrence to an extent where I think he'll have the best season of his career, Trevor Lawrence, in 2025. And in the fantasy episode we did, Reagan, you, me, and Garrett were all very high in this Jags offense for 2025.
Yeah, I mean, I think the division is just wide open right now. Like, I think a lot of people are way higher on the Texans. Like, I don't think the gap's that far. I don't think the Texans are anything special that the Jaguars can't overcome it. And, the Colts and Titans are, like all these games will be close. Division games always are close. But, I guess you could say on paper the Texans have the best roster. But, like, I think it's wide open. And the Jaguars, don't have that hard of a schedule. It helps. It always helps when you have such a bad season the year prior. Then you benefit the next year because you're not going against those division winners. We're like, the Texans have a really tough schedule. So I think this would be the year that they could catch them. And, to me, 10-7 is definitely in the cards.
Yeah, I think a winning season is definitely in play here for Jags. I just can't get him over Houston right now because Houston's defense is significantly better, and I think Stroud is better than Lawrence. But if Liam Cohen is who we think he is, I mean, this offense could be what, Lawrence and Stroud?
Yeah, I wouldn't say either's significantly better.
Stroud's rookie year was better than any year Lawrence has had.
Was it? I mean, he didn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, he only had like 23 touchdowns. I mean, it was really good. It was just he didn't have a lot of interceptions. So for a rookie year, it was great. But I feel like Lawrence has had some 30 touchdown seasons now.
But Stroud has also won 2 playoff games. Lawrence hasn't done shit.
I mean, he won the one.
That crazy comeback against the Chargers. Yeah,
but, it was. Hey, I mean, it was crazy. I guess Lawrence's sophomore year was pretty good. I mean, his rookie year was rough, but I mean, his second year, 25-8 touchdown to interception ratio with 4,100 yards. So that's pretty fucking good. I would say, you could go back and forth, but I would say that to me they're the same tier. I wouldn't say one's better than the other. I was a lot higher on Stroud before last year, but right now to me, I view them in the same exact tier. You can, go either way, but I lean Lawrence.
Okay. That's fine, man. You can pick your poison there. I'm going to go CJ Stroud. I think he's the better player right now. And but I wouldn't be shocked if Lawrence has a better season this year, potentially, because, we highlighted in the Texans episode, Stroud's offensive line is garbage. This Jacksonville offensive line is better than that. And they have 2. Well, we know Brian Thomas is elite. I think Travis Hunter will be elite as well. 2 weapons out wide and a pretty good running back room. So, and honestly, I like Liam Cohen as an offensive-minded head coach more so than I like the offensive minds over in Houston. D'Amico's a defensive guy. So, Houston just fired Bobby Slowick and they have a new OC in the picture, right? So I like Liam Cohen better. I just am not ready to give up the crown from Houston to the Jags right now, but we're definitely both bullish on this offense for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that being said, Reagan, who's your MVP for the Jags in 2025?
It's Trevor Lawrence. He's going to ball out. I'm telling you, man, this guy's going to be an MVP type candidate. Cohen's going to unlock everything. He's going to be everything we expected when drafted. He's going to get over that 30 touchdown threshold, and he's going to be pushing 4,500 yards with these 2 weapons. I don't know what the run game will look like, but I'd imagine at least one of these 3 guys will emerge as like the spearhead of it. And that's all he needs is one guy to be, relevant as a pass catcher and give some juice to take some off his shoulders and open up more in the passing game and the play action. So I think it's all going to come together, and Lawrence is going to have a massive season and lead this team to a division title.
I went with Brian Thomas Jr., man. I think he could take that step into the fully elite tier at the top of the league, eclipsing 1,500 yards. Now, I know Travis Hunter.
I do too.
Is in the picture, But outside of those two, there's not much, right? So there's plenty of targets to go around for both these guys. Brian Thomas, if he goes down, it's like, okay, we need Travis Hunter to play offense full time right now. And then the rest of that depth chart is ugly. So for this passing game to thrive and for Lawrence to take that step that you're alluding to, that we're hoping for, Brian Thomas has got to be that dog, that number one.
I think he will. I mean, that was on our 15 NFL futures. That was one of my hot takes, was he will lead the league in receiving yards. So I think he fully could. I mean, he was third last year, I know obviously it was only like 1,300 or whatever it was, but I think he can get to that 1,600, 1,700 mark for sure.
Yeah. So we're like, ours go hand in hand there. Who's your X factor for the Jaguars?
Yeah. I mean, it's the running back room in general, man. It's just, they need one of these three guys to emerge and, show that they're, capable of taking the workload. Because if it's a three-way split, I don't know what that's going to look like. They need one of these guys to fully step up, be that Bucky Irving type that we saw in Tampa Bay, and just, give them a consistent run game that they've lacked the past couple of years. And, it's going to take a lot of weight off of Lawrence's shoulders. I mean, without a consistent run game, it's asking a lot, but you unlock so much of the playbook if one of these guys can become a consistent runner. Like, the play action game will be awesome.
Yeah, Lawrence has been at his best when ETN was a dog. 2023 was a great year for him. I'd love to see ETN get back to that form. So that's a good call to you. I went with Trevor Lawrence, though, man. Play like a $275 million quarterback. Play like the generational tag that you had. Be that guy. You can't be middle of the pack when you're getting paid that much money because you're just handcuffing the entire team to improve. He needs to lead this team back to the playoffs soon, or shit, we might have a problem in Jacksonville. And we might have to start having some difficult conversations on if Trevor Lawrence should even be their quarterback moving forward. And hey, it's going to be tough without a first-round pick in 2026 because you moved up for Travis Hunter.
True. Yeah.
So if they are garbage this year and Lawrence gets hurt again and is trash, they're stuck. They got to roll with them again for 26. And that's where it's like, fuck, do you have another wasted season in Jacksonville?
Mm-hmm.
Rookie of the year. I mean, it's Travis Hunter, dude.
I'm going to go with Jack Kazir, the backup. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go Caleb Ransaw, third-round nickel out of Tulane. I ran a 4.33, and they need help in the secondary, so he's going to play. Wyatt Millam, like, offensive lineman, maybe. He gets a spot at guard.
You can make a case for Tutin. If Tutin takes over the backfield, you never know. I mean, look, obviously Hunter's going to be a beast, but we saw last year with the Giants, everyone was like, it's going to be Neighbors guaranteed. And then Tyrone Tracy, I was like, hey, man, I think he'll have a big impact for this team, and he certainly did. So it's possible. Everyone's looking at Travis Hunter, but I'm just saying if Tutin wins this job and takes it over, he could be the rookie of this year too, if he can eclipse the 1,000-yard mark. I mean, obviously, Hunter's going to ball out, but I could see him having a big impact still. I mean, it's wide open right now. I know you're high on ETN, but it is wide open. And in fantasy football, I've seen all three guys getting drafted, in best ball as well.
Yeah, I think I think Tank will have his role no matter what. I really think it's ETN versus Tutin to be the lead back in the receiving game and be that third down guy. Because Tank's a different style of back where he'll get the short yardage and the goal line, which will hurt both of these guys, but it's fine. If whoever wins the job is going to feast in the passing game, what can't happen for fantasy purposes is all three backs are getting like 7, 8, 9 touches a game.
And that's what's going to probably happen to start until one of them emerges. That's why I'm staying away, but also like taking shots here and there on them all, just because like none of the ADPs that crazy. So
they're all similar range, like late.
So it's like worth taking the dart throw, but like I'm not taking any of them like playing outside of like maybe ETN as a flex to start. But
who's your defensive player of the year for the Jaguars in 2025?
Yeah, I'm going with Josh Allen Hines. I mean, dude's a stud. He's going to need to get to that like double-digit sack mark, stay in that range. If he could even push 15, that would be awesome, because this is a defense that, has some names on it, but definitely you don't look at it and say like that's a top 10 defense. But Josh Allen Hines, yeah, exactly. So he's obviously been the stud. He's been one of their most consistent players, multi-time Pro Bowler. So it would be nice to see him get over double digits. I mean, last year he took a step back with 8, but the year prior he was at 17.5. So we know he has the capability to be, pushing 15 sacks in a season. So he needs to get back to that. He needs to be pushing at all pro level.
Yeah, I forgot that he had 17 and a half sacks in 2023.
Dude,
That's
yeah.
ridiculous. And, you know, I thought about going with Trayvon Walker here, but I have to agree with you. Josh Hines-Allen is just the better pass rusher right now. I know that Walker had 2.5 more sacks than him, but it's a 14.1% pressure rate for Allen compared to 11% for Walker. Allen has shown us he can get the job done and get the quarterbacks to the ground with the 17.5 from 2023. The pressure rate was there, just didn't close the job and get the guys to the ground as much last year. I agree with you. He's going to be their lead guy.
Allen's Hine as their X factor as well, and just
it's Hines-Allen, not Allen's Hine.
Oh, sorry, didn't mean to offend anybody. But if he can get back to that, you know, going from 17.5 to 8, like if he can get back to that, and an additional 10 sacks from him is such a huge factor for this defense. So
yeah,
you can make a case that he's the X factor as well, and returning to that, you know, I don't even know. I'm actually shocked he wasn't. I'm actually in awe that he wasn't
Defensive Player of the Year.
No, not defensive player, but not even an All-Pro
in 2023.
Yeah, he was not on either All-Pro team, but he was a Pro Bowler. So
that's crazy. Maybe because they were so bad. You know what I mean? Like,
still,
I don't know.
17.5. Isn't that what fucking Hendrickson had last year?
Yep, that's what Henderson had last year, which led the league, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I think in 23, Myles Garrett and TJ Watt like feasted though.
Yeah, but
it's still
strange,
team,
you know?
Yeah,
I guess that was Parsons and Bosa.
Bosa,
probably those four, but still.
Probably.
Crazy.
Fantasy football, Reagan. I mean, shit, just listen to our fantasy episode. We just gush over the Jaguars the whole time. Who do you like in this offense?
Yeah, I mean, Hunter's scary a little bit, but the ADP is what makes it fine for me. I mean, it's not like you're drafting him, you know, too early that it's like a risk. So at that point, I'm fine with it. Brian Thomas, I'm totally for in the, you know, the early to mid second. Sign me up. You know, the running backs, I'm fine with taking a dart throw. I mean, I'm not going in with expectations of any of them winning it. It's just whoever I end up getting is my guy. But I would say Tutin's the one I would, you know, out of any of them, just because we've seen what ETN and Bigsby have looked over the past 2 years. At least Tutin's fresh legs coming in, so you don't know what to expect. And we've seen with Cohen that, like, last year with the Bucs, like, Bucky came in, got the opportunity, and he turned it into, like, basically a full-time gig. So I think, you know, whoever has the hot hand can run away with the job. You know, I'm fine with Strange, like you said. I mean, it's definitely interesting. And T-Law, I think, is an incredible value and could be, you know, has top 5 ceiling as a fantasy quarterback.
Wow, top 5. Well, hey, if they win 10 games, that means this offense was humming, and maybe Lawrence does creep up into that range. I mean, all over.
He has some mobility.
He does. He can move around. He's just got to stay healthy. I mean, it sucks. Last year, he was sliding, and that's when he got hit in the head and got the concussion that knocked him out for the season. He was sliding. It was just a millisecond too late. You know what I mean? And it was a dirty hit. So he does have mobility. And people forget at Clemson, man, he had some really long touchdown runs. So I'm going all over Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter, for me, is the biggest sleeper at that ADP. I'm like, if that's my wide receiver 3, holy shit, I'm pretty pumped because the upside is so high. And we had this debate, like, if he wasn't playing defense, he's probably a 3rd-round pick, maybe late seconds, because he got picked 2nd overall. Like, Marv was going back in the 1st round, early round 2 last year. Maybe Hunter's not at that range, but a round behind him. But the fact he's going to sprinkle in on defense has people concerned, rightfully so, about the injury. You know, I don't want to see him tackling Derrick Henry, but I'm all over Travis Hunter, that ADP. Of course, Brian Thomas, if he's staring me at the face being in the 2nd round, I'm hitting the button, and I'm very, very happy with that. No doubts. I mean, he's quarterback proof. We saw that last year with Mac Jones, right? He's in that tier where it doesn't matter who's throwing him the football. The running back room, I'm taking dart throws. I got 2 in a dynasty league. I've got an ETN in a couple best ball leagues as my RB3 or 4. I do not have any shares of Tank Bigsby just because he's never going to be that pass catching guy for this team. And you're going to be very touchdown dependent, in my opinion. So staying away from him, but I'm targeting ETN and Tutin. And Strange, yeah, I think he's fine as a backup tight end. Maybe, I mean, someone needs to get targets here, right? Outside of Thomas and Hunter. So I think he's a fine play.
Yeah, for sure, brother. For sure. But Jags
fans, hit our comments. Let us know why we are right. Winning season coming in Duval. Let's go Jags, baby.
Yes. Duval.